Hey everyone, I'm Ms.Murray and welcome to Wondering Wednesday. Today's segment is going to be So You Want to Be a ... where we interview someone that is in a really interesting career. So when people ask you, what do you want to be when you grow up? You might have some ideas because of some of the awesome people we've talked to right here. So today we're going to be talking to Jessica McEvoy, who is going to tell us a little bit about what it is like being a voice actor. So let's get on with the interview. Hey everybody, it is Wondering Wednesday, and today I'm here with Jessica McEvoy, who is a voice actor. And so now we're going to be learning a lot about what that is like. So thank you for being here.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Okay, so I want to jump right into these questions because I'm really interested to learn about what you do. So first off, what inspired you to jump into this career?
Oh man. So I was sort of at like a weird point in my life where I was like, what do I want to do with myself? And then one day I just saw an ad. Amazing. Ads work, apparently. I saw an ad for a site called ACX, which is the Audiobook Creation Exchange. And it was like, hey, you can record audiobooks. And I'm like, I can just now by myself without like talking to anyone. I can just do it. I was like, I could do that. I like to read. I can read out loud. That's doable. So yeah, so I started looking into what it would take to be able to start with audiobooks at first. And so I got a microphone. I downloaded some free editing software. I looked up places where you could get involved in voice acting and audiobooks and other forms of narration. And then it just kind of worked out on accident. So here I am today.
Right, and some of those audiobooks you've done were for Marcus Damanda, who we had on for our very first Wondering Wednesday.
Right. So... Marcus was my very first audiobook. I'm sorry, Marcus. That was my very first audiobook. I still had a lot to learn, but he was so nice about it the whole time.
Well, I've listened to, because I read the books before, his books before I listened to the audio, and you did a great job.
Oh, thank you. You're very kind.
Hey, I wouldn't have known it was your first audiobook. So I think that's great. You got to start somewhere. And,
you definitely do.
Yeah. So what's your favorite part about this job?
My favorite part would have to be the actual voice acting element of it, just like hopping in my booth, getting to do fun character voices, being able to scream or cry or laugh maniacally, like getting to play those big character roles with a lot of emotion and just let go and peak the audio and worry about it later.
So you said you record in a booth. What is that?
Hopefully it's bright enough for you to see it. My dark booth. Ooh, okay. Incredible. Yeah, I built that. And by I built it, I mean, now my camera's all off center. I mean, I paid for all the materials and my fiance and my stepdad built it with their bare hands. So that's where I record. I used to record in my little sister's closet, which had great sound muffling because she had so many clothes and like stuffed animals from our childhood. And I had a little foam box that I balanced my laptop on top of, and I had my mic right underneath it. It was very precarious. It was very bad for my knees. I was kneeling the whole time. So having the booth is much better.
Hopefully you can sit in a chair while you're in there.
I have a stool. I have a swivel stool. It's so good. It's so much better.
Yeah, I can imagine being stuck in a closet doing I've heard I think I've listened to YouTubers that have done voiceover recordings talking about how I'm in a closet right now. So so that's interesting that you got to figure out how to muffle those outside sounds. I'm not anywhere nearly that professional. You may hear my upstairs neighbor stomping around, but yeah, that's super cool. So least favorite part?
That's what comes after the fun part. That's editing audio, which is mind-numbingly dull. So starting out with voice acting, likely you're going to start out as freelance, which means you're taking care of all your business yourself. You're recording yourself, which means you're also editing your audio to sound somewhat good yourself. And that's a lot of listening to your own voice over and over again and being like, wow, I breathe so loud. and listen to all these horrible mouth sounds that come out of my mouth. And by the end of it, you hate yourself a little bit, just a tiny bit, but you get over it. But it takes so long because I won't lie, I'm not super proficient at audio editing. So it takes me a good while. And by the end of it, I'm like, man, maybe I just never record anything again. Maybe we're done here. Maybe this is it.
Editing, I got into the YouTube scene because I like editing, but it's video editing. Whenever I have to mess with audio, that's a whole other story. Like figuring out levels, like when I'm doing video game things and myself talking over it. You guys are more patient than anything to deal with audio. Like, yeah, I can see where like video is fun, but yeah. Okay, so what kind of training or degrees would someone need for your job? You said you just jumped right in because you saw an ad.
I just jumped right in. So you can get I don't know if any schools actually have like a voice actor program. I know there's tons of acting schools. You can take voice acting classes. I've never done that because I'm a fraud. Or acting classes in general. Lots of people take those. I didn't, and it worked out for me, but I don't disparage anyone who has gone out and sought professional help for their voice acting. I would definitely recommend, if not paying for an audio engineering course, again, for the editing, then there's lots of great resources online you can find for free a lot of the time about how to edit audio, because that is one thing you're going to want to be somewhat good at. Otherwise, your life will be a nightmare.
Okay. Now, do you think taking regular old acting classes help you hone that craft, even though nobody's seeing you? Do you still see yourself acting everything out, even though you're just using your voice?
I've never taken an acting class. Don't tell anyone. I'm just have all sorts of emotions inside me all the time. But I think I've met some people who swear by acting classes, and who swear by the teachers and professors who have helped them reach a new level in their audio voice acting and whatnot. So maybe acting classes are good. Get out there, take a few, see how it goes. Why not?
that is always a good thing, especially once you hit college or you hit adulthood, where you can just go out and be like, oh, let me try this, let me try that.
Oh yeah.
Being forced into the curriculum of regular school. Yes, teacher just said that. But anyway, but yeah. So okay. Any advice you would give to any aspiring voice actors or actresses?
Oh my gosh, so much. I'll try to keep it short. I'll stick to two. The first one is sort of the obvious advice, and this counts for pretty much any freelance thing you're going to do in any job. And that is to treat it like a job. I've known so many people are like, I can do a great SpongeBob impression. I want to be a voice actor. It's like, okay, that's cool. SpongeBob already has a voice actor, but it's cool that you can do SpongeBob too. Right on, man. And then they go out and they apply for gigs and stuff, and then they don't spend the time they need to edit their audio, or they're late with deadlines, or they don't communicate with whoever they got the gig from. And so when you're starting out, you're going to be bad. You might be a better bad than other people, but you're going to be, you haven't put the time in, you haven't gotten there yet. You're not going to be super great. So what you want to make sure you definitely do is always be professional. You want to ask for when the deadline is, and then you want to get your audio in before the deadline. You want to be polite. You want people to like you. And that's how you start getting more and more jobs. Like when I first started out, I'm not going to pretend I was some prodigy of voice acting. But what I did do was I always got stuff in very fast. So that way I became known as someone who was reliable to get work in, which means if, hey, I have this role, I need someone to fill in real fast, I'm available, and they know I'll get something in, and they know I'll do it to their audio specifications. So advice number one, treat it like a job. You've got to be good at setting your own deadlines. You got to be good at waking up when you need to wake up and having your own work hours and not playing video games all day. It takes a while to get there, but you'll get there with self-discipline. So, advice number two, and this is something I've never heard anyone else in the voice acting world talk about, but I think it's really important, at least for me and for what I do. and that is to read. As a teacher, I hope you approve.
Especially as a language arts teacher, definitely.
There we go. Because half of voice acting is reading. You know, you're reading the words in front of you, and you need to be able to know how to read those words. So voice acting is essentially making a series of choices of what you're reading. You know, no one's sitting in your ear telling you how to say each word. So the more familiar you are with words and sentence fluency, the less choices you have to make consciously. You'll just see them and you'll be like, this is the word that needs to be emphasized in this sentence. This is where the pause goes. This is the tone I need. And it all sort of comes together a lot easier. And also just acting in general, voice acting or otherwise, I think reading helps you develop empathy. And that's something you really need for acting. You need to be able to put yourself in your protagonist's shoes, in the author's shoes, and be able to know the emotion they need and to be able to portray that emotion accurately and authentically. And a big part of that comes from reading. So sorry if you don't like to read. Start reading books you like, characters you can relate to, fun stories. And along the way, you'll start hearing the words in your head. You'll start hearing the sentences. And that way, when you get in front of your microphone, you already know how the words go and you don't have to stop and be like, how do I need to say this?
It's definitely more than just reading it off the page, just flat reading it. Like, come sit in any of my classes where we read a play, and we have the kids that are just go for it, and then we have the kids that are just reading what's on the page. So yeah, you definitely need to be able to distinguish the two when you're...
Oh, I was definitely a go for it kid. We read Macbeth in high school and I was Lady Macbeth. You had better believe, out damned spot, I was there. I was there with that.
I always love it when some of my little sixth graders try to take on British accents when they do like a Christmas carol around, Christmas time. So that's always the best thing. I was like, yes, you go for it. You do this. And they always have more fun. The kids
I've been so afraid of accents, so go kids, go.
Some of them do a great job. Others need a little bit more practice. But yeah, I can't wait till we read more plays. Virtual school makes it a little hard though. But anyways, I just thought of another question. So I know some of the stuff that I've listened to you do probably isn't that appropriate for my friends that are probably watching this. So is there anything that you've done have you done any more of the, because I know you've read Marcus's books, which are considered young adult. Have you done anything else? I know the one podcast that you read for did No Nap, which I'll link to in the description. But is there any other sort of within the young adult range that you've also read, so I can point people in that direction?
I'm trying to think. For clarification, I typically do horror stories. I read scary stories for a living. So probably not my big known thing where everyone knows me from, but I think Victoria's Lift might be age appropriate. It is about an elevator that has a little girl in it, and you enter the elevator and she takes you to a floor in this wherever you are, and it helps you learn more about your life and your experiences. I've been in a few episodes of those, and those have been age appropriate. I hope there's not like secret non-age appropriate episodes sprinkled in, but as far as I know, it's good to go.
Okay, I'll definitely link that. I think I have heard of that. I'll have to check that out again. But okay, so we have some of the young adult books you've done. We've got Victoria's Lift. These kids love horror, so anything that has a sprinkle of it, I'm sure they'd like. But yeah. Okay, so the last thing I like to do with everybody is my lightning round. These are just random questions.
Okay.
I'm going to ask them, you answer them, I'll move on to the next one. So I'll try to keep myself from saying yes when after you answer something, because that's usually what I do with the first one. Because I've had this like 4 or 5 people say the same thing for the first one, and I'm like, yes, me too. But okay.
I think I know what their answer is. I think I can guess.
For visit any place in the world? Yeah.
Is it Japan? Do they all say Japan?
One's Japan and the other is New Zealand. Those are the 2 places. And those are 2 places I really want to go to. So I get all excited. But okay, let's jump right in. So there we go. If you could visit any place in the world, what would it be?
I'm going to mix it up. I'm going to say Vietnam.
Okay. If you could have any superpower, what would it be?
Shape-shifting or teleportation?
Favorite superhero?
Probably Deku from My Hero Academia.
I have a lot of students that are gonna like hearing that. Favorite movie?
Oh, the Studio Ghibli movies are so good, but probably top Spirited Away.
Okay. And favorite song?
Right now, it's Hold Me Down by the Happy Fits.
Okay. Favorite cartoon character?
Aang from Avatar.
Favorite animal?
Fox.
Favorite food?
Oh, all food? Ramen. We'll go ramen.
Favorite drink?
Water. I'm boring.
No, you're not. Water's good. And favorite emoji?
Oh, I don't typically use a lot of emojis, but when I do, it's like the shrug emoji. Like,
Me too.
like there's a lot you can say with the shrug that you can't say with words.
I agree, which is why that and the laughing with the tongue sticking out one, those are my two go-tos. You'd say a lot with both of those. Okay, so thank you so much. Is there any final parting words you'd like to say to everybody?
Oh, sure. Just, being young, it's a good time. It's a good time to explore and see what you're interested in. Right now, you might be interested in voice acting, and if you know that's what you want to do, there's no better time to start, man. You can read out loud. I used to read to my little sister all the time. That's always fun. And if you find out one day you're like, actually, I thought I liked voice acting, but maybe I'm interested in this now, it's okay to change your mind too. So if you want to voice act, you get in there, you voice act. There's so many roles available for so many people, and you might be the best one for it. And if one day you don't want to do it, that's cool, man. Explore, enjoy the world, Be a kid, yeah?
That is good advice, because some kids are forced to not be kids too quickly, and yeah, all of us need to be kids more, even those of us that aren't kids. But I want to thank you again for being here. I really, really appreciate it. And that's all that we have for you. We'll see you tomorrow for Tips and Tricks Thursday. Bye.